coming up right here under the hot seat, of course, I got a great show as always, and with some of the topics I will be talking about and discussing on my show for this week. And with that, going into the A-Train, of course, there has been some rumors that the A-Train will be coming back into the WWE. We will be talking about that, and as well, will HBK screw over the Undertaker and or Triple H, or call it down the middle with the special guest referee match going into WrestleMania 28, among other topics as well. So be sure to come on in and join us, and as well, just watch the show in general. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoy, and you know what's coming up next. Roll that intro.
You are watching the most interactive professional wrestling discussion show on the internet. WWE Impact Wrestling,
ROH Wrestling,
pro wrestling at its finest on In the Hot Seat with your host, Fortminorproject.
What's going on, guys, and welcome to this week's episode for In the Hot Seat. Of course, as always, I got a great show lined up for you guys, and as well, I'm being joined by my guest at this time. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm the WWE Ben 1013.
Alright, so I'm going to kick things off here, and with the recent rumors as of late, there have been talks that A-Train might be coming back, and what are your thoughts on that? Do you think he'll come back, or do you think these are just rumors and he won't come back at all?
I don't think A-Train will come back. You know, he did not do that much when he was in the WWE back in early 03. Okay. You know, just didn't do that much, and yeah. I don't think he will if he does come back, but I don't think he will return.
Honestly, I think he will be coming back. I'm not sure doing what. Last I checked, he might be a part of this whole general manager storyline, so I think that would be pretty cool. And honestly, I thought he was a pretty talented wrestler, and I think it would be pretty damn cool to see him come back and have his last one in the company and do something there with the general manager storyline, and as well maybe something else too right after that. So I think that would be pretty damn cool to see him back. Next topic that I do got here, and moving along and continuing things on here, and going into WrestleMania next year, and do you think HBK will come out of retirement and possibly even face Triple H at WrestleMania 29 right after the match at WrestleMania 28?
You know, if they do, it'll be kind of, this is what I'm thinking.
Okay.
That, I don't know if this is what happened, but if they do have a match at WrestleMania next year, they're probably going to do what they do with Cena and Rock. Have it right after WrestleMania 28. Like, have an agreement, they do it at WrestleMania 29. Mm-hmm. But I don't think HBK will, but it'll be great to see HBK and Triple H have one more matchup. And when they had their matches back in 2002, 2003, and early 2004, they just, they had great matches. They had last man standing matches, 2 out of 3 falls, you know, so on and so on, you know. I would love to see that matchup, but I don't think they will.
Yeah. I think they might possibly do that depending how the match is going to turn out at WrestleMania 28. To me personally, I think that would be really cool to see, to have their match at WrestleMania 29, since I'll be most likely going to the event. So they definitely had a lot of great matches in the past, so I don't see why not having that match. And one more match for HBK anyway, but that's entirely up to HBK himself if he wants to come back for one more match and go against Triple H, and that'd be the end of it. So we'll have to exactly wait and see and how that's going to happen, but I think that would be really great to see for WrestleMania 29. And
plus,
yeah, go ahead.
He also has like a show on TV, like about hunting or something like that.
Yeah.
So he still has to think about that. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen with that. I think that would be cool if he did come back. And going into the matchup with WrestleMania 28 this year in a few weeks, and with that being said, do you think Shawn Michaels will screw over the Undertaker and or Triple H, or do you think he will actually call it down the middle and just have a clean match when it comes to that? So how do you feel about that?
I think he's going to screw Triple H. You know, back... I remember this from a promo in like 02 or something like that. Mm-hmm. Well, this one thing, like Triple H should say like, you know, I was the main person of D-Generation X. Mm-hmm. And plus, last year, I think this is what Triple H said, Shawn Michaels said, how can you think you can beat The Undertaker when I can't?
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's what I'm thinking, that HBK will screw take Triple H and possibly have a matchup at next year's WrestleMania against Triple H.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not too sure. It could go a number of ways with this one. HBK could really just lose his cool and maybe even screw over Triple H and help The Undertaker win, or it can kind of help the both of them win when it comes to that, or we just might see a little altercation after the match and have HBK call it down the middle throughout the entire match. So I do think we might see something, if not during the match, maybe around the end of the match or right after it, something like that. So something will possibly happen, I'm sure about that.
Yeah, and Shawn Michaels mostly knows about being screwing people, because he did that with Bret Hart back in '97.
Yeah, and if he doesn't do anything at all, I mean, that's fine by me, but I think something could possibly happen around the end of the match or something like that. So it's kind of hard to tell at this point right now, so I cannot wait for it. It's going to be a great match to see, so definitely cannot wait for that and looking forward for it. And
totally agree with that.
Yeah. And going into the last topic that I do have here, and that is on Mick Foley, and we haven't really seen him for a while. And do you think he'll come back and do a storyline right after WrestleMania, maybe get involved in some matches or something like that? How do you feel about Mick Foley?
He was a great competitor. I can give him that.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in a couple of WrestleManias, against 22 against Edge.
Mm-hmm.
He went to TNA. He's done a lot. Now, would I like to see him and Rock do another segment, like, right after WrestleMania? Or, like, have, Rock, when Rock wins, because I'm on Team Rock,
Yeah.
Probably have Mick Foley come out, have, like, Mr. Sacco win, a Rock Mr. Sacco, have, like, his, Rock and Sock Connection jacket, and, like, celebrate with The Rock at the end of the night. That would be
Awesome.
nice.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty cool to have that, and just have Mick Foley maybe come out at the end and celebrate with The Rock, even if he does win, but have to wait and see when it comes to that one as well. And when Mick Foley came back, I thought that was great. I marked out for sure on that one, and he hasn't really been doing too much. He did that whole SmackDown special, which really wasn't that great at all, in my opinion, so I didn't really care for that. Hopefully he will do something, maybe wrestle Cody Rhodes or something like that, and do a little feud here and there, and I'm not too sure on what's going to happen else with that, so those are just some of the possibilities that could happen. So I would like to see at least Mick Foley do something and do some feuds or whatever have you.
Just do something special for WrestleMania.
Yeah. And I thought he was actually going to come back and be a part of that general manager storyline, so I guess they're not going to be doing that at all. So again, we'll have to wait and see when it comes to Mick Foley on his part. So those are just some of the ideas that I would like to see out of him, even if he does come back, which I hope he does, and I'm sure he will anyway. So that's it when it comes to that. And yeah, that's pretty much it with all the topics that I do have planned. Is there any shout outs or anything like that, or any other topics that you want to talk about before we end the show?
Subscribe to me, the WWE Nintendo team.
Okay.
Subscribe to the Night Monster on YouTube. He's one of my friends.
Okay.
On Skype here, and that's mostly it.
Alright, of course I will leave a link down below for everyone to check you out, and as well with the shout out that you mentioned too as well. And that about does it for this week's episode for In the Hot Seat. Be sure to comment on what we talked about. Feel free to leave a like, video response, all that good stuff on this video. And until then, of course, as always, I will talk to you guys later on. And thanks for watching In the Hot Seat. Peace, guys.